Hi, I'm Clemens from atmoky. If you have watched the first episode of this series, you have trueSpatial already running in FMOD. Now it's time to move beyond basic 3D panning. Let's have a look at the settings that actually define the physicality of the sound. Let's dive in. trueSpatial comes with 4 different attenuation roll-off models: linear squared, linear, inverse, and inverse tapered. Find the exact definitions on the atmoky developer hub. You can also turn off the automation presets completely and create your own attenuation curve by simply adding a distance parameter sheet and letting control the gain of the spatializer. Check the min-max distance settings in the plugin UI to define the bounds of the effect. If you're using atmoky's min-max distance, please make sure you set the override distance setting to on. Otherwise, you will use FMOD's event macro settings. In the next section, we have controls for the source width and occlusion. You can think of the width parameter being the radius of a sphere centered on the source. When the listener enters the sphere, there is a smooth transition to audio being panned to all channels to create a sense of envelopment. When the spatializer output is set to, let's say, 7.1, you can see the effect when looking at the meter. Please note that for binaural, width is currently only supported for stereo files. Occlusion is a parameter that dampens the sound source to simulate the effect of an obstacle being placed between the sound source and the listener. You can control the occlusion parameter by game logic, for example as seen here with this raycasting based approach in Unity. Near-field effects. When a sound gets close to our ears, we get that intimate feel that we have, for example, when someone is whispering very closely. It's also the secret behind iconic demos like the virtual Barbershop. Let's set a certain near-field distance that defines the minimum distance for the effect to start. And let's set values for gain and bass boost. Let's have a listen. It's a subtle effect, but it creates that tactile feeling essential for VR or any first-person breath on the neck moments. Now let's head over to the Source Directivity section. Real-world objects don't emit sound equally in all directions. A human voice or an acoustic guitar, for example, have complex directivity patterns. For a quick overview on the Source Directivity tool, let's jump into our developer hub. For the source directivity, you can define an inner angle, where the sound is at full strength, and an outer angle, where it starts to taper off. In this transition area between the inner and the outer boundaries, we can set how much low-pass filtering is applied and how the gain decreases. There is a handy tool that visualizes the defined directivity patterns. In FMOD, let's right-click, select the preset loudspeaker, and rotate the sound source. You can clearly hear the dampening depending on the orientation of the source. Now let's select the wide beam preset to create a highly directional sound source. Finally, I want to show you the Externalizer plugin that comes with the package. In the case of binaural playback, the Externalizer helps to get the sound out of your head, into the environment for a more immersed feeling. The Externalizer can sit in the single tracks, but also in the main binaural mix. That depends on whether you want to use it on the individual sounds or the whole mix. So let's add it after the spatializer. Amount and character at 50 is a great start. Let's try the Externalizer on. And off. On again. It adds that sense of space to the sound source. You can set the overall amount and use the character slider to tilt between a warmer or a more airy feel depending on your environment. If you want to see these settings in a full production context, check out our demo scenes. The link is in the description as well. As always, you can find the full technical breakdown for every slider as well as the trial download form on the atmoky developer hub. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode.